Happy super full moon. We have the final and fourth super full moon of the year on September 29th. Now with every single full moon, the energy peaks 3 days before and 3 days after. So pay attention to how you are experiencing this super full moon energy. Because this is a super full moon, it means that the moon will be closer to Earth, so we'll feel her effects a lot more. You will notice that maybe your sleeping patterns, your emotions will be affected by this. And the super full moon happens on September 29th. It happens at 2:57 Los Angeles time, 5:57 New York, 10:57 London, and 7:57 p.m. Sydney time. The themes for the super full moon are awareness, resilience, and trust. It is awareness of your power, your will, and trusting in your soul's divine path that we generated before we reincarnated back into Earth. So this is a really intense super full moon, and the reason is because within tropical astrology, the super full moon is in Aries, a fire sign, and within sidereal astrology, it is in Pisces, the watery sign. So we have this two elements that are clashing, fire and water. Also, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So we also see this clash here between endings and new beginnings. And this is also a significance of the upcoming eclipse that we have on October 14th. Now, keep in mind that we're still feeling the equinox energy. The equinox is on September 22, September 23rd, depending on where you are in the world. And with every equinox, it's sort of like a graduation point. It is the start of a new soul chapter, a new soul journey. In the Northern Hemisphere, we start the fall. In the Southern Hemisphere, we start the spring. And so it's all about these new beginnings that we're entering. But with new beginnings, it requires us to close certain chapters, right? Because we only have a limited amount of energy. And in order for us to focus on the new, we also have to sort of get rid of the old stuff that is no longer serving us. And at the end of this video, I am going to share some rituals that you can do to work with this super full moon energy in the most optimal way. Hey, so if you're new here, hi, my name is IamSolTara, and I am a medium, and I share wisdom and alchemy from Kemet, also known as ancient Egypt, and Atlantis. So if you're interested in spiritual alchemy, I invite you to subscribe. So with every full moon, every new moon, every astrology update that you see, you have to connect with the energy directly, because just because we're saying, oh, this is an Aries full moon or this is a Pisces full moon, you have to look at your own individual astrology chart. But if you don't want to do that, because sometimes it can be a little bit complicated, then just sit and meditate with its energy. So with the themes of this super full moon, it's all about calling our energy back, calling our focus back into ourselves. So think about all of the currents in your life right now, the currents in your career, in your relationship, in your finances, in your health. There's a lot of stuff moving, right? And so it's all about right now pulling that energy and that focus back to us so that we can choose where we want to place our focus on which current and start to change the momentum of those currents. And one of the ways to do this, and something that we're being called to do, is be more present, bring more awareness into the present moment. Sorry, that was my German Shepherd puppy barking in the background. And something that I've been noticing is I've been seeing so many fireflies recently, like sculptures of them. They've been flying around my backyard. And dragonflies, they represent and carry a medicine of being present, really focusing on the essence of the now. And pay attention to what animals are showing up for you, because during different parts and points of our journey, different animals and animal guides will come into our lives to give us a specific medicine based on what we are needing right now. And one of the ways that we can be more present is by connecting with the root chakra. And Ganesha is a Hindu deity. Ganesha is celebrated and revered in Hinduism, Buddhism, and other different religions. And Ganesha, he governs the root chakra. And the root chakra is connected to our sense of safety, stability, and our body. The more that you can connect with your body, the more present you become. It basically brings you and anchors you into the now. And so you can consider working with Ganesha to help you to be more present. And on September 19th is actually Ganesha's rebirth. This is a festival that's celebrated in India that celebrates new beginnings that Ganesha is known for. Ganesha is a deity connected to new beginnings, wisdom, intellect, and he is known as the remover of obstacles. So if there's anything that has been super challenging in a certain aspect of your life, consider working with him so that you can, bring more ease into these friction areas of your life. Some rituals that you can do during this super full moon are working with water. So water has a soothing quality, and this is what's going to help us to remain in the present moment. So you can take a full moon shower, a full moon bath, go for a swim, but connect with this magnetic energy of water to really soothe yourself. Because when we stay in the mind is predominantly an electric energy. It's a very masculine energy where it's very analytical and it's thinking step A, B, C, D, right? It's very linear processing thinking. But the magnetic mind, which most people call the divine feminine energy or mind, this is connecting us to our intuitive mind, our higher mind, a place that connects us beyond this time and space, right? That's why the left brain is very logical and it's step by step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whereas the right brain is intuitive. It's that magnetic quality within you that can see the bigger picture overall. So connect with that aspect. One of the ways that you can do this is by dancing, by drawing, by doing anything that allows you to tap into your creativity, where you can just stop the mind from continuously running and ongoing. Any activity that helps you to get out of your mind and just being in the flow and being in the present will open you up to receive divine inspiration. Another ritual that you can do during the super full moon is focusing on forgiveness. Now, with forgiveness, it's a process. Just like all of us grieve in different ways, we're all going to forgive in different ways. And forgiveness, just like grief, happens in waves, right? So one of the things that you can do with this extra full moon energy is call in more mercy for yourself. Know you are worthy of mercy and forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for maybe the unconsciousness, the things you may have said out of anger, hurt, or ignorance, and go into a process of forgiveness for yourself. One of the ways that you can do this is by practicing the native Hawaiian prayer for forgiveness, the Ho'oponopono. And this is a really beautiful practice where you repeat, "I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you." And do that to yourself. Maybe stare at your bathroom mirror, or maybe do it while you're in the shower. But just call in more forgiveness for yourself, because sometimes, we're a little bit too harsh on ourselves, especially now as we are within sidereal astrology entering Virgo season. The Virgo likes to be very self-critical. And so see if that resonates with you and you can incorporate that into your full moon practice this month. Another ritual you can do is you can join us for our super full moon ceremony and meditation. And every single full moon we have a special ceremony with a different god or goddess. And when we do these ceremonies, it's not about us worshiping these beings, it's actually just connecting with the essence that they have, that we have within, because we have to keep in mind that we are just all fractals of source, and these beings are helping us become aware of those aspects that we may have forgotten about ourselves. And that's the intention in these full moon ceremonies, for you to actually connect with the energy itself. So every single full moon we connect with a different deity so that you can connect with different aspects within yourself that you may have forgotten. And this month we are going to connect with Ganesha, the remover of obstacles. And in our full moon ceremony and meditation, we're going to do an alchemy ritual to release blocks. And if you want more details about the ceremony and if you want to sign up, you can get more information in the description of this video. And even if you cannot join us live, the recording is just as powerful, because the reason why we host group ceremonies is because the energy is 3 times more powerful, which means that your release and your manifesting will be boosted by the energy of the group, because more people means more energy, right? And so when we host these circles, we create a blueprint outside of space and time, so that whenever you're listening to the recording, you can always connect with that super full moon energy and the energy of our group. So it's this energy blueprint that's created. And this super full moon is actually on Friday, and Friday is ruled by Venus. And ritual that you can do is connect with family and friends under this super full moon. So you just heard me explain why we host a monthly full moon group ceremony every month, because the energy is more powerful in a group. So connect with people who make you feel safe, people who make you feel seen and heard, and celebrate this full moon with them. It's the last super full moon of the year, so make it special, make it a party, a celebration of an old chapter that you are now ending. What's fascinating is that this super full moon is also the Mid-Autumn Festival in China. And this is sort of like their Thanksgiving equivalent to the US version, where in China and in Korea and other places of Asia, they will celebrate the Mid-Autumn Festival by connecting and having dinners and gatherings with their friends and family. And something else that we need to focus on during the super full moon is the strength that we get from surrendering and trusting in our soul's divine path. Now, we have to be very resilient during all of these changes that we're moving through, collectively, individually, within your lineage. So we have to be strong. And one of the things that will help you to be strong is really surrendering to your soul's path. Your soul is this divine being directly connected to Source. We're all connected to Source. And you have to really trust that. You have to trust that you have that wisdom, you have the power, you have that strength directly from Source to move through whatever you're moving through. And when you surrender to your soul's path, that is when the gifts come in. That's when the people come in. That's when your spiritual gifts turn on to new levels. That's when the synchronicities come on. That's when the opportunities start to flow into your life. So there are huge gifts that come when you trust and surrender. And just keep that in mind during the super full moon. And I wanted to share this channeled message from Ganesha to help you to understand how to work with this full moon in the most optimal way. So I'm gonna go ahead and just read through this to make sure that I convey everything that Ganesha shared. So Ganesha, first let me just give you a summary and then I'll go into word for word what was shared. So Ganesha was trying to explain, I always ask what is the most optimal way that the collective can work with this energy? And one of the things that Ganesha, again, because he's so focused on wisdom, intellect, and also because he governs the root chakra, is all about being present. And it's not about just having wisdom for the sake of having wisdom and philosophical conversations. No, it's about embodying that wisdom. And so I was asking him, how can we embody this wisdom? And he was saying that we need to be aware of our power of choice right now. So he's saying that there are many different versions of us. So there are many different parallel universes, parallel Earths, parallel souls, parallel Sarahs, Michaels, etc. And so you're existing in many different timelines right now. When you choose to focus on the present moment, so let's say right now you're choosing to watch this video, right? You're choosing to learn how to work with the full moon in a more empowering way, right? It's gonna lead you into certain other choices, into certain paths and timelines. So he's saying that there are many different versions of you, and the more that you focus on what you actually want, that is what's going to materialize and collapse all of those multiple timelines into a material plane. So focus on the power of choice. Let's say you're going through a breakup or you're having a health issue. focus on the version of you that's healthy. So let's say, for example, you have pancreas issues, a pancreatic disease. Then focus on the fact that you have healthy eyes or that you have healthy ears. And when you focus on the health and give gratitude to other areas of your life, you're choosing to focus on calling in more health and calling in more expansion, because gratitude leads to expansion within our energy fields and within the cells in our bodies. So focus on that, and that will lead you onto another path of more health. And Ganesha just kept mentioning over and over again in different ways, but to summarize it is that there is an immense power in knowing that you are a divine creator. So we have to keep in mind that this is a hologram, and sometimes that's hard to do, right? Because this feels very real, right? If we touch our phones, our computers right now, it feels very solid and feels very real, but this is all just a hologram. And you have to understand that you are the avatar that gets to decide how to interact and function with this hologram. And so keep calling your power back. Keep calling your awareness back to the fact that you are a powerful creator. And one way to do this is by focusing on your power of choice. What are you focusing on in this present moment? Are you focusing on giving your power away and focusing on what other people think about you? Or are you focusing on valuing yourself and what you want to do with your life? And something else that Ganesha conveyed was the importance of respecting and trusting our soul's path. So when we are very tense, when we're very stressed, should I do this? Is my life purpose this? Should I join this company? Should I enter into this romantic partnership, into this friendship? Whenever we are in this space of stress and confusion, we block ourselves from receiving the guidance from our higher self, our soul, and our spirit. And so the more that you can move into a space of trust, surrender, stillness, and peace, the more that you create space for your higher self, for your soul to give you this information. And I'll just say his exact words. He said, the more that you can release the tension, stress, the more remembrance of your soul contract comes into your awareness. Because when we signed our soul contracts, when we created our soul contracts before we reincarnated, we're like, okay, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. But then when we come back to Earth, we have to sort of forget all of that and remember all over again. And the way that you can remember that all over again is by moving into a space of peacefulness. Because in that space of peace, your heart expands, your consciousness expands, and you're able to receive that divine wisdom from your soul. Okay, so I'm gonna share the messages that he said. So Ganesha said, thank you for walking down the path of the courageous ones. Trust and respect your soul path. Keep walking your path even when your path leads into darkness. Like an object enters a black hole, it comes out transformed. You are moving through this process of transformation, and it is not easy at times. That is why I am here. I am here to bestow my support, my peace, my equanimity to keep you light within the darkness of transformation. So just like imagine a flower. For a flower to be converted from a seed into a flower, the seed has to be planted into the darkness. In order for a caterpillar to be transformed into a butterfly, the caterpillar has to go into the darkness of the cocoon phase. So that's what we're experiencing right now. And that's why currently you may be very confused. You may be seeing a lot of rupture and disruption in your life because we're in this period of transformation and sometimes transformation can be chaotic and destabilizing. But what he's saying is that remember that you are just experiencing a process. Do not get lost in the darkness, but rather flow through it. And I'm gonna read that again so that you can really just feel the energy. Remember that you are just experiencing a process of transformation. Do not get lost in the darkness, but rather flow through it. If you feel stuck, surrender to the moment. Observe where the next current is. There are several currents and several choices, and one choice is not right or wrong. They just take you down different paths. So make choices that feel in alignment and put you at ease. Connect with me so that you may be at ease. So he's inviting you to connect with him. And he's saying, be open to receive my love and support, for you are not alone. It may appear that way in the darkness as you cannot see, but I am here. This journey of darkness is an illusion. It's a simulation. As soon as you call your power back, as soon as you become more present and aware of your love and power, then the light pervades and you move out of the darkness. Through that internal test of transformation, you transcend and rebirth into the light. Enjoy the journey. Realize that it is not real, although it very much appears real in the moment. Ground, breathe, and detach so that you can see beyond the veil. And so just feel that. Maybe watch this video all over again, because every time that we watch something, we receive it in different ways. So maybe watch this again in 3 days, in a week from now, to see how that feels in your body, because the soul is connected intrinsically to the body. So just allow your heart to process that beautiful message. And one of the things about this is, like, as he was sharing that with me, I thought about the game Mario Brothers, if you've ever played that video game. So, you know when Mario goes down one of the little green tubes or in tunnels, Mario appears in a different way, in a different area, right? And so it's the same thing. Ganesha is saying that, yes, we're presented with several choice points, different choices right now. Maybe you're deciding whether to leave your marriage, or maybe you're deciding whether to start your business, or maybe you're deciding whether to have that health operation. Whatever choices you're being presented, those are like these little tunnels that Mario goes through. And each tunnel is going to take you to a different place. And Ganesha saying, like, there's not right or wrong choices. They're just different choices that will lead you to different places. And whenever Mario appears in a new place, eventually he finds another tunnel, right? And it's the same thing that happens to us. When we make these choices, then new choices appear to us. So it's like we can eventually end up at our correct destination, but there's just different ways to get there. And so sometimes it's about like just taking a deep breath and releasing the intensity of it. I know we're moving through a lot of intense changes right now with everything that's happened politically, economically, environmentally in the world right now. And this is a huge transformation that our whole planet is moving through. It's an evolution of consciousness. Keep in mind that the eclipse is coming up on October 14th. Eclipse season is always a time of fast transformation. So remember to just breathe out the intensity of these experiences so that you can remain light through this experience. And again, Ganesh is just inviting you to connect with him so that you can be light in this process. When I was connecting with him, honestly, he was just so joyful and made my body very light. And so it's one of the things that I kept asking him, it's like, well, how can I be more peaceful? Because there's a lot of shifting things happening in my life, within my family right now. And he was just like, be present, breathe and be present. So sometimes, you know, we try to make it very fancy and complicated, but sometimes it really is about just taking a deep breath in and focusing on what you can do now. Right? So I hope this message helped you, and I will try to make a video about the upcoming solar eclipse. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing this with who you think would benefit from this message. And thank you for your comments. Let me know how you're feeling this super full moon energy. And I hope to see you at our full moon ceremony and meditation with Ganesha, or maybe at a future full moon ceremony. Have a beautiful and empowering super full moon. Much love.